So I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about some of the factors that can affect the outcome of your acupuncture treatment. Based on our experience and the experience of our teachers, we have learned that there are a very specific group of problems that can make it harder for acupuncture to help you. So I'm going to go through that list. And the first one is the thyroid. We know that the thyroid gland is responsible for many important functions in the body, but one of the most important ones is maintaining body temperature so that all the chemical reactions in the body can occur properly. And so if your thyroid is not working as well as it should, we might request that you get an evaluation for your thyroid and get some good medication that are going to help your thyroid function at its best. The second issue that we are aware of that can impede people's health generally and also keep acupuncture from working very well is the adrenal gland. And we've all heard recently about the adrenal gland and its relationship to stress. And this lifestyle that we're leading now, where we're constantly emailing and texting, and we've got EMF hitting us and all of these stimuli, it's making our sympathetic nervous system get revved up, and our parasympathetic nervous system that rest and digest is less functional. And so if the adrenal gland isn't working optimally, or if you are spending all your time in fight or flight mode, it's very hard for the acupuncture to work at its best. And so we might suggest some evaluation for the adrenal gland, or we might suggest some treatment for the adrenal, or we might suggest some methods that you can use at home to try to get your sympathetic nervous system to quiet down and your parasympathetic nervous system to be more present more of the time. The third area that we know can impede the effective acupuncture is trauma. And so many of us nowadays have had trauma, emotional trauma, physical trauma. And what we know is that that trauma actually lives in the tissues of the body. And so we have some really simple ways of removing the effect of that trauma in your body so that the acupuncture can work better for you. And we will talk to you about that when you're here. Another element that we have found can interfere with the effective acupuncture is toxins. And we all know that we're surrounded by toxins. We're getting toxins from air, toxins from water, toxins from food, even toxins from the electricity that flows through the wires all around us and the microwaves that are flying through the air and going through our bodies. And so we need to make sure that our body is really good at eliminating toxins. And so the acupuncture can improve our ability to detoxify, but sometimes we might need to make some changes in your lifestyle or add some supplements to reduce the toxins. The other source of toxins that we don't usually think about is infections. And a lot of us have infections in our body that we're unaware of, such as bacterial overgrowth in our intestines or even infections in our teeth. And those infections are continuously secreting toxins as well. And so we might need to do a little bit further investigation to find out how we can address those toxins that you might be getting from your gut or from your teeth and add some kind of extra treatment to help you with that. And then that's going to make the acupuncture work much better for you. So another factor that we're going to talk about that can impede the effective acupuncture is the digestive system. If you think about how many people you know, or even you, who take some kind of over-the-counter remedy for reflux, like Prevacid, Prilosec, omeprazole, and so on, or Pepto-Bismol, Gas-X, Mylanta, all those things that we take for our gut, it tells you there are problems. And what we know about the gut is that it's the essential ingredient for breaking down all of the food you eat to provide those microscopic nutrients that you need to run this machinery at its best. So it is a factor that we need to think about carefully when we work with acupuncture, and your acupuncturist may speak with you about ways to improve your digestion that are going to really help the acupuncture work better. The last area of concern are dental issues. And it is not good news because we now know that something like 90% of all root canals have a tiny infection down at the very bottom in the jawbone, and that tiny infection is consuming resources. It is something that puts a demand on your body, and it's a problem that needs to be addressed. But a lot of modern dentists are not interested in addressing that problem. Another area is that we know that anytime you've had a tooth pulled, there's also going to be a tiny infection down at the bottom where the tooth was. And that's about 80% of extractions. And again, most modern dentists don't want to talk about this issue. And I think that the standard of care in our country is that these infections are so small that they don't require treatment. However, for the ultimate best in natural health, we will refer you to a biologic dentist whose specialty is to find these kinds of problems and treat them in the healthiest way possible. The third issue in the dental realm is mercury. And most of us born before 1980 have got silver fillings, and those silver fillings are called amalgams because they are a mixture of different metals, but the most important metal in there is mercury. And we know that mercury is the most toxic material, second to plutonium, on the planet. And so every time we bite down on one of those mercury fillings, a tiny bit of mercury gas is emitted and we inhale it. And so we're continuously exposed to the problems from mercury toxicity. So again, we might recommend that you seek a dentist who's willing to remove and replace those mercury fillings with something that's healthier for you. So this is a list of the factors that can impede acupuncture from working at its best. And we realize that it can be overwhelming to think about all of this, but in the course of time and with the help of your acupuncturist, you can come up with some plans and some strategies to begin to address those things that are pertinent in your situation.